The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Check, check. How we doing? Can you hear me? All right. Good, good, good. How you guys doing? Oh, my lordy. I'm not going to make it. I need some water. Still getting used to my new configuration here, and drive me a little nuts this week, but we'll get there. All right, all right, all right. For those of you new here, hello, hello. So let's talk a little bit about where everybody is. So folks have been following me for some time in various media know that I'm a huge fan of harmonic scans, and the reason I'm such a huge fan of harmonic scans is indeed because they have the hottest zone on the chart, right? They have the hottest zone on the chart. Why is that? Because you have a bunch of consecutive sequential Fibonacci's, all right, that have specific ratios, and that when they all match up, those consecutive ratios, they form these harmonic patterns. And this is all due to yes, absolutely. So the question is, if I've subscribed to this scanner, can I use the other patterns for potential trades, things like double tops and whatnot? Yes, you may, absolutely. It's, remember, Fast33 is designed, and any of the harmonic wave convergence tools, Fast33 or Tab 29, designed to be super confirmation tools. And so they, you're best off targeting with them versus just trying to trade them blind. You can trade them blind, but you're going to have a lot more hit or miss, and you're going to have a lot more, you challenge your head in the RAS and your head game quite a bit when you do that. So even though they're probably much more accurate than anything you do in the old paradigm, even without targets, they are going to, they're not going to be as good as if you have a targeting mechanism with you. So things like double tops, double bottoms, and stuff like that, yeah, absolutely, use the benefits. Yeah, I'm not so worried about it in the sense that, I'm just, so obviously, for those of you that know, I tell you to go to forexharmonicpatterns.com to get your scanner, and that's because there are literally a few dollars spiff. But the few dollars spiff, it doesn't raise your cost any. It's the same price if you went directly to them. But this allows me to offset some of my programming costs so I can continue to put free stuff out there like Fast33, which costs money to produce. So you help me to help you. So if you go directly to Harmonic Patterns to get your scanner versus coming through Forex Harmonic Patterns, then you rob me of those few dollars, and they are just a few. You can look it up, nothing to hide, but they help offset the cost of the programming. Also, if you do anything else with me, you'll get a discount for using this particular scanner. So if you want to get the harmonic scanner that I use, go to DisruptiveTraders.com. It'll tell you there, but I have it right here in yellow in the top of the screen. It's forexharmonicpatterns.com. Don't go directly to the vendor because you'll miss out on giving me that spiff, and you'll miss out on any discounts and future stuff, and you'll minimize my ability to produce stuff for you guys free, like we've been doing for quite a while. Okay. Yes, and you also got a 50% discount the first month, right? Correct. So there is an incentive to go through me. All right. All right, awesome. So Dimitri saying, by the way, Steve, your Fibbo cheat sheet is amazing. Gain me some awesome pips. Yes. So again, during that Fibonacci session that we did, that's 16 years worth of effort, research, reading. I didn't pull that off of Google. That came from a lot of sources over the years, including some very good coursework from Jim Kane that's no longer available, unless you buy his entire suite of programs and books, and then just other stuff that I've learned over the years from various traders. So good stuff, good stuff. The Fibbo cheat sheet's really only practical in the new paradigm. If you're an old paradigm trader, it's just going to confuse you because you have no ability to understand or to discern the so many lines that are there, right? So a couple housekeeping things. First of all, tell all your buddies to get here. This is good stuff. It's free. It complements whatever else you're doing. It gives you insight from a 16-plus year trader. And besides that, you know, how could you resist my charisma and my humor? Right, Mackenzie? Right, Zoe? Yeah, avoid the grizzly. That's the only reason why somebody wouldn't come. Do invisible friends count? Hee hee. I was always wondering who you were talking to. So, yeah, bring your friends. Get your friends here. Get your buddies here. Tell them to not miss out. I'm still not used to the instant response. So when I say a joke and I see laughter, I'm not used to that because it used to be 20 seconds. It makes being a commodian really hard. I'm a commodian. All right. So let's talk a little bit about harmonic patterns and the scanner, you know. So a couple of neat things here with the scanner. First of all, you know, we log in and log out, and when we log out, the scan and anything we do on it stays. So it's your account. It stays with it. So if you do analysis on here, it stays with you, okay, which is pretty cool. Boom, take that off for now. Yeah. And it does, you know, lots of different patterns, lots of different time frames, lots of different financial instruments. So find it a pretty good tool. And you could dummy it up and make it just like you want. You know, for you, it's got the same, you know, it's TradingView, so you can do things that you do with your TradingView account. So if we want to go to a solid background like I like, we can do that. So hello, Poland. Yeah, we're showing the screen and it comes across. It means you're not looking at the right thing, Stuart. You got to go find it. You're here because you're typing in questions, but it's showing. I see it on my secondary monitor. If somebody can't hear me, it's, you know, don't know what to tell you. Sound is working. All right. So, where are we? Okay. The nice thing about patterns, and this, this to our advantage, is we have the ability, as you can see, the pattern is drawn before it gets up to the D. So that allows us to do some cool things, but you got to be careful in what you're doing because the scan hasn't fully formed yet, right? So obviously the size of this scan, yeah, there is a sound check or a sound, yeah, it's a sound check that people can do. All right. So what I mean by being careful is not to think you have a completed scan. So as I said the other day when I was trying to draw my diagrams, that the scan should always paint on the entry line, and you see here the calculated entry line, and the scan is painted right on it, and it should always be above current price, which is where it is. And it should stay there. It's not going to go up or down based on price, even when price turns and reverses short, or if price goes long past it and turns around and reverses. This D will stay here, okay? It will move eastbound because it always stays above price. So as we get more candles over here, eventually that is going to be right there. And while I do have a lighter green. So as price goes, to the right, this wing, if I make it a wing and not a box, this wing will now be out to here over price when price gets over in this range. So the point of it will always be right above price until it comes up and kisses it. Yes, Anthony, correct. So what that means is if I put if I put a Fitch pork on this, gotta stay with that. I love it. Scans, Fitch porks, and Fibos. If I try to draw a Charlie Delta, realize that's a hypothetical Charlie Delta because that point is not fixed. And so I very well will have the X and the midpoint fixed. That won't change. The midpoint won't change by geometry, but it'll move, which will change the shape of the fork. But the C and the X are fixed. I've seen the D in a PRZ, and the entry on the chart could be many pips from the D. On this scanner, it depends on the pattern. So you can have a shark for sure because there's 2 entries on a shark. Oh, it's not like the there are patterns for all time periods for each currency pair most of the time. So it's not like it doesn't, you can get 1 minute scans, you can get 5 minute scans, you can get 15-minute scans. It's not a matter of it generating patterns, it's a matter of the patterns being there. So I have no other explanation than that to offer. So if there is a valid pattern there, it paints it on all time frames, whether it's a 5-minute scan, a 4-hour scan, a daily scan, a weekly scan. I posted a weekly scan the other day in the Facebook group. So right now, this Charlie Delta X-ray pseudo phantom fork would be like that. But remember, it's going to move. So there's nothing there right now to really do a Charlie Delta on, but you can do other stuff. We also know right now that we can do an X-ray alpha. If we turn off our ink to go, because right now the X-ray alpha can be drawn. Remember, we only have 2 opportunities for that. It's either we put the top on D, which we won't ever be able to do. Why? Because the top D is lower than the X, and we can't have a downward pointing fork on the XA because it's an upward facing swing. So that means only, and I got to take my magnet tool off. That means only the C can touch. Boom. Yeah. Ah! All right. I'll lock that bad boy for now. It could be a traditional, but in Charlie Delta forks, we don't draw traditional forks. And why I like this as the Charlie Delta on the X-ray alpha is you already have hits right on that line. So lining it up with the C is nice, but you already get hits right in there. You're welcome to play with it. Here's the deal. I draw as few forks as I can. I like the traditional on CDX if it's available, and I like the X-ray alpha with the touch on the D or the touch on the C. If it's not there, what do? It's not there. What does Steve do? I move on. I go to another pair. I go to another scan, another time frame, or go swim. Exactly. Look, guys, the more you try and trade, the more things you try and trade, the harder it is going to find success, because you've got to evolve a subconscious flow for each thing that you're trading. And that means a volume of trades for each thing that you're trading. Well, I think the people that get sucked into the shiny object syndrome like to stay about 2, 3, 4 weeks and they move on to something else because they can't make that work. So they move on to something else. Now they've got 3 or 4 different things already where their RAS is like, well, what are you confusing me here? Did you want me learning that, or am I supposed to be learning this? Because you never had enough time in it to get anywhere. All right. So I like, this right here, right now. X-ray alpha on the C. Now, does that mean that it's always the best fork? No, sometimes in a case like this where you have a swing high, swing low, it can go back to a traditional bottom where you would put the pitchfork at the bottom down here, at the bottom of this low. That would be considered a traditional. And in the scheme of things, it might be a better fork, but save that after you've mastered Charlie Delta and X-Ray Alpha. It's only your ego that's going to make you try all these other things. Oh, but I saw Billy Bob do that. It's like, yeah, I bet you did. So go do 100 of those and then start trading like Billy Bob. It's all about programming your subconscious mind with what it is you're trading, so you can see things without looking anymore. Does the distance ratio between X and D, okay, when changing, moving east, change the probability of D being the turning point of price? No, D is not a set point in terms of time. D is a price point. It is not it's a Fibonacci, guys. It's a Fibonacci. So it's like any kind of horizontal support and resistance. It's a calculated price point, which is why it can slide east. But it has nothing to do with the probability of the scan not working anymore. So it could be shallow, it could be wide, wide out. Sometimes you'll see these things go wide, wide out. Bats that are really, really wide, like they got their wings fully flat versus them up. Yeah, just slides right down that top line right there. It's the only place it could be. Okay. Oh, I've seen really wide bats, really deep bats. Just have to understand, price is not going to, is the question, well, let me ask the question. Let me use that Fibonacci bounce as an example. Would that still be a valid pattern? Absolutely. So what's not going to happen, unless you get some like just insane consolidation, is what's not going to happen is it's not going to stay on that line forever. At some point, it's going to fail, meaning if it doesn't get up there, it's going to bounce down, or at some point, it's going to go past it. And when it goes past it and goes past the stop loss, the pattern's invalidated. If it reverses before it got to the green line and drops, then the pattern's invalidated. So it's no big deal. So how can you manage this kind of trade? If you're talking about the D getting to its zone, I put a trend line on the chart. And what can I do? I can go to the trend line, right click on my trading view charts and create an alert. And I would name that alert your Aussie USD 240D. So when I see the alert come to me in a text file or an email, I'll know exactly which chart, and I'll know that the D is approaching within how many ever pips? A 4-hour chart, you got plenty of time. 20, 30 pips out. Well, see, the thing is, on the scanner, I like the pitchfork because what? It brings us a energy point, right? The pitchfork brings us an energy point, meaning there's an energy point right there. The intersection of, in this case, the median and the entry line. Now, we can use Fibonacci's as long as there's something else there. Is the entry line sufficient with the Fibonacci hit? Yeah. Meaning if I had on this fork, I always like to make my Fibonacci's, my off Fibonacci's dotted, so I, just because I like to. So now that gives us, a few more different potential entry points, doesn't it? Off the CA fork, off the XA fork. So we have an energy point there, and we're going to have an energy point there. So the question is, do you take the trade? Well, first of all, you have to understand this is a 4-hour trade, so we're not going to trade off this chart, are we? No, you don't want it to break through resistance. It doesn't break through it, just bounce off of it. So some people so far said they've liked the box. Some people don't like it. I like it because eventually I'm going to populate my TradingView charts with all the rest of the information here in terms of the PRZ. So just individual, I like the bucks, yeah. Yeah, it's not going to get here though. I mean, we're not going to break the median to get to the D in this case because it's the line is just drawn above current price. The D will continue to move eastbound as each candle comes. So as the candles go this way, the D goes this way. It's always going to be above current price. That's how it's supposed to be drawn. All right. So in this particular case, you have that going on. But what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? How about, since this is a 240 chart, what happens? Whoops. What happens if we drop down to a 1 hour chart? Oh, look at that. My fork is still there. Now, let me ask you a question. I'm going to move it. I think I will. Oh, maybe not. Let me ask you a question about this bottom of this fork. No, Lewis, I do not. Or Louis. Depends on. So, some things here that you can do that may help you. So I'm down on an hour here. Can I draw more pitchforks? Why not? I gotta swing high. Oh, let me turn my magnet tool back on. I gotta swing high. I gotta swing low. I'm gonna Gregor best fit this to touch the bottom. Oh, gotta take that back off. And I will also, oops. There we go. We'll make it, my magenta, no, because you got to put magenta on there. I'll make it bright blue. It'll contrast enough. Now, I've got it drawn in this case. The bottom there and a touch over here at this D in that pattern. And you can look at it, real nice touch here. It's a stopping, it stopped and it continued, but it stopped it right there. See, nice touch right here on the median. Notice it saw that. Not the Fibonacci. Fibonacci from the yellow chart couldn't suck it down. Just a few pips away. The median was so strong it stopped it. You want to pay attention to stuff like that. We have this over here, though it's not a traditional because of that. It is a support and resistance point on the line. A link for what, Aaron? Yeah, because the low, at time frame or in the move, this would have to be the low you would put it on. You can't just randomly go back lows. But why this works is because it is a trend line. So you have a smaller fork. So all this thing is deciding what it's going to do at the 4-hour level, what it's going to leave and not leave. You can trade the hour fork with what? Tab 29. Keep doing that. Catch the recording. Yeah, we would, in older terms, we would call that reverse compliance. You can get more information on what I do by going to DisruptiveTraders.com. DisruptiveTraders.com. Register there. I'll be having some information coming out. Boopity boop boop boop. Okay. So why can't I get my chart? Yeah, it's not letting me do it. That's what I don't understand. Yeah, I lost price. Oh, it just bombed. There it is. Yeah, but it's not giving me time frames. That's what I was trying to get to. Well, it's seeing that as, oh wait, yes, that's the problem, because you're never going to see it. That's not the thing you touch. Yeah, no, I didn't lock it. It's this box. See you later. Yeah, there we go. This is the time frame you got to have. Sorry about that. Yeah, I didn't lock that small one, did I? I locked the big one, but not the small one. Man, I messed things up. I'm sorry. We'll get there. I'll lock it this time. I don't know that that's the same. Yeah. Only in a demo. Couple things to play with. Let's see where we want to set it. Blue lines running through the charts are the provider's support and resistance. It's based on a range. He's got a range algorithm. They're pretty accurate. Bottom line is, what I'm trying to get to is, you have the ability, when just because you have a bigger time frame scan, you have the ability to trade many things. Okay. So we were what, the bat? There we are. Wrong bat. There we are. So you have the ability to trade many things, and time periods. So let me show you one thing here, what you do. So we've got this scan, and you know, if you're a serious trader, you're going to have your trading view charts. Just period, end of story. Oh yeah, these are great charts. So you would copy that scan over to your charts. Voila. There's the scan. Now it's on my charts. Now I get a little bit more data about what's going on. Now tab 29 in this case. So we know this was down here an 8-hour bottom. All right. And we have a really good entry there at this upper time frame. Now we're not going to trade it here, but just giving you technicals that you would want to pay attention to. Notice the divergence here, and the yellow is our 8-hour wave. So that's why we have a good reversal point there. So the yellow is the 8-hour wave. So we have an 8-hour top, even though we're on a 4-hour chart. That's an 8-hour top. This is an 8-hour bottom. Where are we headed up to? Another 8-hour top. See how fast it went here? There's an 8-hour top. It retraced down, going back up to another 8-hour top. When the 4-hour wave converges with it, we'll have another 8-hour top, and that's going to be somewhere up here. This little pullback here is a 4-hour pullback. 8-hour wave still going up. All this is pulling back. That tells you it's going higher. So the 4-hour wave is going to converge into the 8-hour wave up here. When the 4-hour wave converges into the 8-hour wave, we could look at a 30-minute chart, a 15-minute chart, and we'll see the lower level waves converging as well. And I said it before, if you're interested in tab 29, go to DisruptiveTraders.com and register for updates at the site. But, so you can do this with, you know, lower time periods. Fast 33 is great, because you can take what, an hour scan. This is a 4-hour scan, so it's kind of hard to move this down. But I can take a 1-hour scan and move it down to a 15-minute chart, and then use Fast 33 to make my trade. Tab 29 just gives you more opportunities with larger time frames. That's all. Yeah, the waveology is really strong here at this time period. Now it's crunched a little. I don't think, because it resources. I'll try, but I don't know if it's going to work. I don't think we have enough resources to put the 8-hour on the on a 30-minute chart when I have everything else loaded the way it is. Oh yeah, it did. Okay. So you see a 4-hour bot. Now, if you have it on here for a duration, the plots are going to look nice. Normally, I don't change time periods on a chart, but I'm just, because that'll mess up the waves. How would I say it? They're not going to plot smoothly because I interrupted it. Let me just say it that way. If I keep this on, then it'll all be nice and smooth from this point onward. But anyway, we can see we had a 4-hour bottom down here, and we're working our way back up. This is a retracement down. It's going back up. Notice the 30-minute. As this thing's bouncing off the 30-minute 62, in here, it's bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. See the 30-minute wave going back up. So this is a retracement, big move by the 30-minute wave in terms of the indicator. So all these three are now headed back up. And the yellow is just going to keep kind of going on like that. And that's when you have your 8-hour top for a big move down. And again, you drop in time frames to get that. Stretch this back out where it was. So anyway, Charlie Delta is good. Let's go look for some other pairs just real quickly. What else might we want to look at? How about, oops, not question mark. Not question mark, Steve. Oh, did I not do it? Here we go. So we have one at the 4-hour level for the pound. What about at the 1-hour level? Nothing real current here. What about at the 30-minute level? No. What about at the 15-minute level? Oh, look at that. 15-minute scan. Getting close. Yeah, I don't want to. I know I can. I know how to use the monitor. I'm just showing off the software. You can set watch lists to just, for the pairs you like or the instruments you like. Maybe I want Euro USD and gold, and so I have a watch list just for that, but I just want to get down here with the nitty gritty. All right, 2 different 5-minute patterns. Reversed off the 1 here, off the D perfectly. You got another pattern with a little separate pattern with a little deeper D. It's a good question. How did I copy the pattern? There's a whole video on it in our Files tab under Video Archives, but TradingView gives you a nice tool. I usually use 2 monitors. And what I'll do is, let me pull this one out. Ah, tricked me. Hello, why did you show up? Oh, it is over there. Anyway, I'll do it on 2. I use 2 monitors. And what I do is I come in here with my ink to go. You can use whatever you want. It's just the fast way. I could copy a pattern in about 30 seconds. And I just match the points. And I look at the harmonic scan. I say, that's that high, that's that high, that's that high or low, that's that high or low, and that. That's it. And then with that there, with those marks there, I just come and grab the pattern tool, turn on my magnet, and go there, and click, and come here, and click, and go here, and click, and come here. Magnet tool grabs, click, and then, well, I need to know my price line. And I go above current price. You got a cursor line there, so I go right on that blue candle, click on the price. There's my pattern. Yep, it's real easy. So bottom line, with Fast 33, you could trade 1-minute patterns, you could trade 5-minute patterns, you get 15-minute patterns, you can trade 30-minute patterns, you can even trade an hour pattern, just drop it down to a 15-minute chart. Just change the time frame on it. That's what I love about these charts, is the scanner is I can have an hour pattern, but I can bring it down to a 15-minute chart, so I can use Fast 33 to trade it. They can't go much more than that. So if you want 2-hour, 4-hour, 8-hour daily patterns, then you really need to be more on tab 29 than Fast 33. Gives you more opportunities. And so it's not end all. One of the things we note in here, because the C does paint, and very often you're going to see impulsive moves. Come on, click. From C to D. You saw as soon as it hit the C, boom, look at that. Look at how it took off. And so we look for pullbacks, and then we have ways of reading that in Fast 33 on the shorter term or tab 29. And we could get in these pullback moves here and ride it up to the next pullback and eventually all the way up to the D. So we can make a boatload of pips before we even get to the D. That's what makes it fun. Knowing this point, the pattern paints here. Once the D is set, yeah, then you could put your Charlie Delta on it. X-ray alpha is still going to be good all the way up. You can use it for money management. I didn't even know that, Darren. So I'll have to do that sometime. Try that. That's cool. How do you think unemployment news for AUD will affect this chart? I don't care. See, that's old paradigm to worry about what's going to happen. We trade what happens. So we're not set and forget. we do not do entry orders. New paradigm trader, we're not hunting trades, we trap trades. So yes, there's an alert to tell you when it paints. You get to select which pairs, what time frames. You set your own watch list. So yeah, I don't care what's going to happen. I mean, if it's a news announcement and I'm in a trade, it depends on where I am in that trade. I may exit everything. I may, just depending on how many pips, I may leg down 80% and let 20% stay and then just trade the 20% as I would normally trade it. It's not going to hurt me. I'm not going to lose money. I've already got 80% of my revenue tied up. It's, the 20% could turn around and stop me out, run my stop by 40 pips. I'm still way in profit. No, I'm not. Yeah. So we are a trapper. The analogy I've used several times in my existing students is, what does the old paradigm do? I love this example. Most of my analogies are pretty corny, I'll admit. But so you've got all these little towns. So that white line represents a railroad track. And I've got all these little towns on this line, starting at the one where the railroad's going to hit first. But you got all these little towns. These are old paradigm traders. Okay. All my little towns. All my little favorite old paradigm traders. And here's what the old paradigm traders are trying to figure out. This is an old steam engine. All right? These are water towers. It's got to stop there for more water. So what they're trying to figure out from the time the train leaves here, the old paradigm traders are trying to figure out, now this is time versus price, but it's the same deal. They're trying to figure out when it's going to get to the last train station. This guy's trying to figure it out right here. And this guy's trying to figure out right here. They got a bet going. Who could tell us when it's going to get to the train station? Train station being a time, but we're really talking about price here. All these guys trying to figure it out. Maybe the analogy lends itself, or the metaphor lends itself to an entry order. So they want to figure out where price may get to in order to take the trade. They're trying to calculate this spot with the data that they have. Well, this guy here, he knows when the train left and he knows where it is now. So, it went that distance in X amount of time, including a stop at the water tower. And maybe by mileage, that's 40% of the way. So maybe he does some quick calculations, looks at another water tower, and he makes his guesstimate as to when the train's going to arrive at the trading station. All of that is old paradigm. We have real-time indicators. And I know exactly when the train pulls in the train station because I'm sitting at the train station and I see when it pulls in, and I'm sitting on a bench on the back porch of that train station with one of old four-sided country clocks, and I see exactly when it pulls into the train station. I don't need to guess. I'm not banking on it at a certain time, i.e. price. So we don't chase, we don't hunt trades, we trap them. And just like a trapper used to watch that show several years back, Mountain Men. I haven't seen it in probably 3 or 4 years. But I remember a couple times I watched it, they had this guy up in Alaska trapping, and he just had a simple trap route. He had his little cabin and his snowmobile. He had a plane, but he only got there by plane, and when the season was over, he left by plane. But he had a little route that he, ran on his snowmobile. I think it was about 20 miles or so, right? And he had traps all over the place. He tried to put them on game trails. He tried to put them where, the animals would be. And he'd have, I don't know how many traps he had in his line. Everybody remember that stuff? 20, 30, I don't know. And he'd make his run every day with his snowmobile going out on his trap line. And he gets to the first trap. Hey, is there a marten in there? Is there whatever in there? And if not, what does he do? Goes on to his next trap. Maybe there's something there. He goes on to his next trap. Nothing. Oh, there's something here. See, that's different than the guy over here in the cabin who goes out in the morning and he's got his rifle. And he's looking for them deer. Or moose, or whatever Arctic animal we want to make it. Right? And he's going to go try and find some and hunt it. We don't do that. We trap. We wait for price to come to us. We don't go chasing price. And if you're in the old paradigm, even if you think you're a trapper, you're still a hunter because you don't have the tools. You don't have the real-time indicators. And so all of your indicators lining up don't mean squat if you're on a 4-hour chart because they have so much slush to them. Anywhere from 40 to 80 to 100 pips of slush. Meaning anywhere in that slush zone, it could reverse based on the indicator. Whether it's RSI or stochastics or MACD, it's too much slush. And so you have a hope and a prayer, and that's why you have 150, 200 pip stop loss sometimes. Because you don't know exactly where it may turn around. Somewhere in that area over there. Hope it works. So we trap. And if there's nothing in the trap, we move on to the next trap. If there's nothing hitting a pitchfork at the upper parallel, lower parallel, median at the same time, I have a harmonic wave convergence in fast 33 or tab 29, I move on to another chart. And I don't even have to do that. I set alerts on my lines on the pitchfork. I don't have to sit there and watch. I don't go from trade to trade to trade or chart to chart to chart hunting trades. I'm a trapper, so I can set my traps and I put alerts, and I only have to come to the charts when the alerts go off. What can I do with the rest of the time? Live a life. My content partner in the self-development world has a t-shirt, well, I can't call them t-shirts, has a wearable reminder. I love this shirt. It says, life before likes, i.e., don't let your life be social media. Live your life, right? No, she's not, John, but she has something close to a fiance. Wearable reminder. Yep. She'll get him back. Put a jingle bell on the trap. There you go. Life before likes. And in the trading world, it's life before chart addiction. Why does one become addicted to the charts? Because they're hunting trades. They're looking for trades. That's how you become addicted to the charts. Yeah, I don't even, as I look at it psychologically, I don't even think it's as much greed, because successful traders that are making a ton of money, they know they can't stay on the charts. School of Hard Knocks has taught them. So it's rarely greed in the sense that we might think of it, because they know better. They know if they make money and they stay on the charts, they give most of it back. So it's a waste of time. Bad juju, exactly. Yeah. All right. So anyway, brief introduction to the scanner tonight and pitchforks. And then what we're going to do Monday, Wednesday next week is we'll drop back down to just 15 minutes. And we'll look at some trades. We'll try and rotate through some 15-minute opportunities, see what has transpired, see if anything's about to transpire, and how you use scans, forks, and Fibos, because we'll be looking for some energy points, along with Waveology. So we combine it all, okay? But my point being is there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to one scan, okay? And the fact that this particular scanner paints at the C, if it's going to be successful, we know from this point, price has to get up here. That tells you a whole lot. That tells you a whole lot. Not that we're going to make a trade entry here, but it tells you a whole lot. Yep, surfing with the sharks, Waveology. So anyway, kind of a review for most of you. Some of you brand new. Here you go. Remember to get your scanners. Go to Forex Harmonic Patterns. Starting next week, I'll talk about where disruptive traders can get their pitchforks. If you haven't registered yet, go to DisruptiveTraders.com. Remember to tell all your buddies to come to the session Mondays and Wednesdays. Sometime tomorrow, I will have a Trader's Mindset Mastery. This week, it's still going to be a YouTube video with a plain screen, so you can just play the audio. Next week, I'll have the podcast stuff finished. I'm about halfway through. I lost some time because of my computer situation, so I'm trying to recreate some things. Moving forward, the times for MW, Monday, Wednesday, are 1700, 5 o'clock, 1700 Eastern. The Monday recording is out. It's out in the announcement that I put there earlier today about the session. You just have to hit the More button because there's text below that. So the link to Monday's recorded session is there. Yes, there'll be recording of every sessions that I do, guys, for Disruptive Traders. It's in an archive in the Files tab, but I can't update the archive right now manually because of my computer situation. But I'm going to recreate that page and have it updated. For now, I just put the link. It's in the link of today's announcement. Go to Facebook, Scans, Forks, Fibos, and look for the announcement for Disruptive Traders-TV. 12 a.m. there. Well, have a good night. Sleep well. I hear you. All right, y'all have a good day. Remember, life can be short. So for those people you care and love, make sure you tell them you care and love them. I love you guys. I will see you next Monday. I'll be around tomorrow sometime, not sure exactly when, probably the afternoon. You'll be able to get to the Trader's Mindset Mastery. And starting next week, I'm going to have random pop-ins with screen shares and setups in Facebook. So Facebook live trading. Well, not live trading, but live setups. So stay plugged into the group and get your buddies here and register at DisruptiveTraders.com. You guys have a great weekend. Thanks for your support and love. I love you, and I'll support you any way I can.